I'm going to show you exactly what I did to remain jobless for 9 months in Japan and lose all of my savings, and how you can do it too.
Oh, why is it wet?
If you're hell-bent on staying jobless for as long as possible in Japan, just like me, then I would advise that you try and get exactly the same job that you did in your home country. Your ego is important, and 100% you need to continue your career while you're here, even though nobody wants you. I did video editing or digital marketing in Australia, and I 100% when moving here thought that I was going to be able to get a job in digital marketing or video editing. I was like, there is such a big need for video editors here. Like, surely somebody wants me. There are so many international companies in Tokyo. Definitely I'm gonna get a job like 2 seconds. Like, I went on the LinkedIn, the Indeed, the Gaijin Pot, the Daijob, the Creative Jobs Tokyo, and I applied for 1,000 different jobs, and about probably 1% of the jobs that I applied for ever even got back to me. And then the 1% of that actually gave me an interview. And then 1% of that, I would make it to the second round of the interviews. And then after that, I would fail. This is also ignoring the fact that 99% of the jobs that you see on things like LinkedIn will say native Japanese speaker, which really just means no foreigners, please. The next thing you should definitely do is come here with not the right amount of Japanese. That's right, I'm only N2, baby, which is quite a high of achievement. And I wrote notes here. I spent 3 years, 3 times $100 entrance fees, paid for a tutor, and even had my boyfriend drive me all the way to Canberra from Sydney to do the only mid-year JLPT exam in Australia before our flights to move to Japan, trying to pass that test, all to find out that almost every single full-time job that isn't English teaching in Japan requires N1 or higher, because I think the thing that most people forget is that N or JLPT test in general has no speaking section whatsoever. So I can hear, I can read, but what the hell does that matter? I can't actually speak. So there were a lot of occasions while I was applying for jobs here where I got to the first interview and they'd be like, oh, you're wonderful and stuff like that. The second interview is going to be in Japanese. And then I would get to the second interview and I would just bomb hard ass. Like, my speaking is just terrible. And Keigo, forget about it. Don't know. And then after that, I was brutally honest and I would be like, I'm N2, I can't speak that much, and I would only apply for English only roles. But then once they know that you're JLPT N2, they're like, oh, okay. I literally got this interview for this job that had no Japanese requirements. It said English only is fine. And then suddenly, in the second interview, without any change of expectation, like they did not tell me this is going to happen, it was all in Japanese. And I was just like, But like, again, obviously to expect to come here with not almost fluent Japanese and think you're gonna get like a job in your own field it's giving privilege. Like, so yeah, 100% took the L on that one. I tried very hard to learn enough Japanese, but it's never really enough. So if you definitely want to remain jobless, then point 1 and point 2 definitely come together, because if you want to do a job in your field, but you don't have enough Japanese, you're definitely gonna be jobless for a real long time, girl. If you don't want a job in Japan, then definitely don't look at Indeed for at least 5 months into being jobless. Indeed is the only place that I've actually found like a real job that had potential and started that job in Japan. So I genuinely think that if you want something here, it is actually beneficial to look there, because for some reason I feel like employers on Indeed are a lot more legit. You have to learn a lot of words in Japanese. You do have to do a lot of, like, all the advertisements are in Japanese as well. So you have to know something. But it kind of gives you access to a lot of like really good jobs that aren't just kind of the mainstream ones that most foreigners get. I think the best way to stay jobless here is to move here without knowing anybody as well. I think that's a really good way. Make sure you don't get any job whatsoever. In Japan, everybody's referred. Usually, a lot of the time, it's like who you know, not what you know. And it's really good if you don't know anybody when you're here, not even like a foreigner who's lived here for ages, or, you know, a friend of a friend or something like that who can recommend you. I will say eventually, Aiden realized that his cousin lived here for like a few years or something like that, and then she recommended me somebody who also helped me get a few interviews, which was good. So you never know, there is always somebody somewhere that actually does know somebody here who maybe can get you a job, but we don't want that because we want to stay jobless, remember? I always forget that I have a balcony that I can actually come out and enjoy, but as you can see, it's not very wide. so I can't stand. But still very privileged to be able to have such a lovely view of Tokyo every single day. The next thing, if you want to stay jobless or at least lose jobs that you are already on the way to getting, is bargain for a pay rise. And I actually blame Aiden for this one because I had this job lined up basically that was like teaching English through dance, and I was fine with it. The pay wasn't very, very high, but when I got offered the role, they lowballed me and they didn't offer as much money as what they'd initially offered in the ad. And so again, like every single Japanese interview that I've done, the expectation changes over and over again. Now mind you, I've done not one, not just two, not just three, not even just four. I've done 5 different interviews online and in person for this one, and I finally got it. And I go, actually, because you said this, could you please offer me a little bit of a higher amount? As you know, because I told them what my salary expectations were anyways as well. And I was like, as you know, I want this amount, so, and you've kind of like lowballed me and blah, 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 blah. And now I said this only because Aiden told me to. He was like, they've lowballed you, you have to bargain. And then they came back with a counter offer, which was basically nothing. And I was like, okay. And then Aiden was like, come on, you got to do it. And they're definitely just lowballing you. And then I went back to them again and I was like, oh yeah, please, come on, give me money. I said it a lot more professionally than that. And they ghosted me for like 3 months, and then randomly one day sent an email being like, oh, actually, I think we have gone with somebody else, or something stupid like that. And I was just like, okay, I didn't guess that from the fact that you ghosted me for 3 months. I just thought you were, thinking about it. But again, I have to take the L because it was my fault for thinking, well, I knew that the wages were low here, so I didn't have a problem with that. It was more just like taking the L on the fact that you shouldn't bargain, or if you bargain for a salary pay rise, then do it once. Don't do it twice. Good morning. And ignoring the fact that I look busted, I think something you definitely want to do when you're like low on funds and taking like a really long time to get that full-time dream job here in Tokyo is definitely do not get a part-time job to kind of placate that. I know you're paying key money and stuff like that, but that dream job is right around the corner and you never know when it's gonna come. So, like, if you started a part-time job now, you might just have to quit tomorrow. You never know. Like, definitely don't work a little English teaching job. Definitely don't do, like, a restaurant or a cafe. None of those are going to give you that full-time job. So why would you even do that? That's crazy. Like, if it's not dream, then what is it? The only part-time job I'll do is dancing. Because Japanese people definitely want a non-native Japanese speaker to teach them how to dance. No. I think the next thing you should do if you want to remain jobless in Japan for as long as possible is think that you're above an English teaching job like me and not be okay with working with children. 100%. If you don't want to do anything here for 9 months, then don't go for any English teaching job, because they are hiring and they are actually in demand and they will want you and they will pay a significantly more amount than most jobs in Japan actually pay their own people. But you're better than that because you want to continue your stupid career. Although, to be honest, my real conundrum is that I don't want to work with children. I was the youngest in my family, and then I basically never had any experience with children. And I'm not one of those people like, ew, I hate children or something like that. I don't hate kids. I just think that, like, the responsibility of working with children, like, I remember things that adults said to me that stuck with me my whole life. You know how, like, they say like something offhand once, and they weren't like a parent or a caregiver. They were like a teacher, and they say one thing to you and it changes your whole life. Or they notice something about you and they say it, and then you're like, the dentist. I went to the dentist when I was a kid, and the guy said to me, hey, do you want me to break your jaw so I can fix that gummy smile that you have? Never ever forgot it. My dad yelled at him. Thanks, Daddy. I've never, ever forgotten that. And then for some reason, in Japan, all there is just jobs that are teaching English to children. Like, I would teach adults. Children, and kids are annoying. But it's just so, like, what a responsibility. Like, I don't want to say something ridiculous to a child. Albeit, I'm not going to be mean to a kid, but it's like, I don't want to say something offhand and then it just affects their whole life. They're a sponge. Adults, fuck them. But yes, definitely do not get an English teaching job if you want to remain jobless like me, because they are around. And actually, incredibly close by to where you live, probably, just like how I went to end an interview the other day that was for an English teaching role that was around the corner from where I live right now, but they just ghosted me, so I'll just go fuck myself. I think it's also great if you think that your YouTube dreams and everything like that are going to work out straight away. Like, I spent half of my time at all times trying to make videos and things like that on top of applying for jobs, which really helped me, considering it took me 9 months to be able to finally start getting paid for YouTube. And even then, I think I'm getting like $2 every single day, which is more than I've ever gotten, so I'm pretty grateful for that, to be honest. But not really enough to sustain oneself like a job really can. What can you do? Actually, without the sarcasm, I will say, to be honest, if you really try and if you really want it, I feel like you can be a content creator or whatever kind of creative endeavor that you want to kind of, I don't know, it's hard. I feel like you should never think that your creativity should be able to make ends meet for you every single week. Like, your creativity you should never set out for your creativity to pay your rent. If it does, that's a nice thing, but it's not something that a lot of people can feasibly accomplish, and it also kind of defeats the purpose because your creativity is birthed out of, you know, yourself, and if you then end up doing it for monetary gain, then sometimes it can kind of kill the self inside of you that really wanted to make things in the first place and kind of replace it with somebody who has ulterior motives. That being said, and I wanted to leave this part to the very end because I really don't want you guys to make the same mistakes that I did, because going through what I went through to try and get work here in Japan and being so intense about what I wanted and stubborn, I should say, about what I wanted, it really damaged my mental health. Like, it hurt relationships. It hurt the people around me because I wasn't as happy and bright as I usually am. Destroyed me mental health wise because I could not put any money into the bank and I was just losing money, having to sell things, like doing things I never thought that I would have to do to survive here. Now, I'm incredibly privileged because I've got my boyfriend, not saying he's paying for everything, but he actually hasn't. We've split everything. Everybody always thinks that camera died. What was I saying? Aiden is not my sugar daddy. I had to do a lot to make sure that he would not become my sugar daddy, to be honest. But yeah, it was just so much pain to go through in the end. And if you want to do what I did, I think that there's a way to get to where I am now, that if you follow the guide that I said before, you won't end up in the same position or spend as much time as I did in the gutter, basically. That being said, I have 2 jobs and one of them is in digital marketing and the other one is in dance. So I literally got the 2 exact jobs that I wanted when I set out to do this. Are they perfect? No. Do they pay well? No. But are they exactly what I wanted when I first got here? Yeah, basically. And you can do it too. If you're out here and if you're persistent and you have different skills than I do, you'll definitely have a different journey than me. And if you maybe follow the guide that I've given on what not to do and do what you should do instead, maybe, I hope that you're able to kind of get the job that you want, because it is out there and it is there for you. You just have to try really hard. Like, you just have to really push through and try as hard as you possibly can, despite how difficult it is. And this is all while, you know, trying to get an apartment in Japan as a foreigner, trying to do all the stupid bureaucracy shit here, learning Japanese, you know, realizing that you don't have your family and friends to support you anymore. There's so many different factors that come into play, and then on top of this, you're just sitting there and you're like, gotta get a job! Nightmare. Like, it actually was a nightmare for me. Probably the hardest thing I've ever done is move to Japan. But if you want to do it, and if you want to get to where you want to be in life, then just try not to make the same mistakes as me. I believe in you. I believe you can do it. Because if I can do it and I'm an idiot, then you can do it. That is it. Oh my god. Okay, follow me on @WillBennett2000, and I've just made a new Japanese language TikTok @WillBennett2025. Follow me there for more content. Like, it's more real time, so you get to see what I'm doing actually today or in the day. I recently got a lot of new subscribers for my shorts, but I really want to build more of an audience on my videos. So if you have any ideas of what you want me to do, if you have any content that you want to see from me, anything that you think suits my vibe, I'm so happy to go out and do stuff. And yeah, I just want to build a big family here of weird bitches like me. Ryan Krause is gone, so there's a new twink in town, and his name is Will Bennett. Bye.